we're just talking about 3 different topics. Like, I don't know, guns, crime, women, whatever. Like, I'm big, I'm proud, I've got a car. So yeah, for me, it's about staying true to who I am, what my identity is, and the thoughts that I guess like are constantly flowing in my mind, and just putting pen to paper on that. And I wanted to be happy with myself when I did it, and that's why I did it.
Peace. I'm here with
Thanks for
Golden Roots
insane.
in Jazz Musicals in South Hall. How you doing?
I'm good, man.
Good.
I'm good. It's sunny outside and I'm wearing a big jacket. It's a bad decision.
Yeah.
It's gonna get cooler.
Yeah. Cool. Well, as you know, Roots just dropped the Cradle to Grave EP, a 6-track EP that he's pressed up on vinyl. So Roots, can you maybe just start by telling us your musical background, how you got into music, and you know, where it all started for you?
Yeah, so I think, West London born and bred, literally like within the vicinity of UB1, UB2, like Ealing, Southall, now in Hayes, spent like 25 years in Hayes now. And yeah, music has been part of the family really, right? So my dad used to sing, my dad used to sing. So when my dad first came, had big aspirations as a singer. We used to have like methods at our house all the time. So one day it'd be like Bollywood night. The next day we'd have all his mates singing Qawwali, then we'd have like Punjabi folk night. So yeah, he used to come in late with his mates, and it was kind of like just in the family, man. Like everyone was singing. My other Thayo, he plays Algorzi in India, so he was playing. And I kind of just was brought up in that environment where we heard all this music and was surrounded by people actually performing. So like I literally just realized that Jazim Sharma's playing tonight, and that's like a guzzle night, you know what I'm saying? So that's up in Leicester. I kind of missed that, but we used to have that as well. My dad used to take me to programs, and we listened to all different types of genre of Punjabi, and they use the word Sufi now. Sufi's not really a genre per se, but Sufi music, let's say, you know, ghazal, Qawwali, etc. So yeah, I was brought up around that, and then I think that was kind of the influence that I had. And then I started obviously singing when I was a kid. So my mum's like, I used to sit on the stairs and sing like Bindraki, like the Batta Tera Satana. That was like my tune when I was a kid, you know. And that was like the kind of stuff that I was hearing. And then I think obviously as I got older, like the passion was still there. My dad stopped singing because he was like, okay, you know, one, he was getting in trouble for coming late, but it's like, you got 2 kids, you need to like start a business, make money, and he had to like give up that dream. But he started working, and then like kind of my passion grew as I got older. Punjabi music was a big influence. And then then I started just like singing passionately, and then I started training. And I trained for like 2 or 3 years in Punjabi folk music, and then started learning some kind of element of like classical. Obviously that's the core foundation for any singer, I feel. So I started learning some of that, and then at some point in, I think it was 2019, I was just like dropped Baba Din and Ghana as like the first release, and here we are.
So I think one thing that I've noticed working in the industry so far, especially in the streaming side, is music is getting so, you know, they say there's like 60,000 songs being uploaded every day, you know? So songs become a little bit more, you know, they're just easier to upload. They become a little bit less tangible, and things being tangible is what we'll talk about later with the record. But I want to get back to the fact that, you know, you have this training, right? And a lot of singers in our community have this training. Yeah. That, you know, a casual listener, when they're browsing Audio Mac, they might not know that there's a great history behind this music. And you specifically, I think, are a great voice, you know.
Thank you.
To that sound. So can you tell us a little bit about your training? Like, you know, who were some of your ustads and you know, that type of thing?
I won't admit all of that. I'll keep some of that private.
Okay, for sure.
But learning from home, I learned from a local Gyani then as well. So I mean, normally you learn from, and traditionally with most Punjabi singers, quite, you know, most of the famous Punjabi singers, they traditionally would have learned either Kirtan or you know, from a local Gyani or local priest. That would be the typical route. And then from that, they kind of move on to maybe like going into like mainstream Punjabi music. So kind of similar in that respect. So learned from a local Gyani, got the core foundations, then moved on to another teacher, and then moved on to another teacher that kind of strictly was based on teaching like Punjabi folk. So yeah, I think I've been around like a couple teachers now. My current Ustad, they do Kirtan, they do actually local. So that was the one I was saying, like, come and listen to us at Diwan in the morning with the violin. It's just phenomenal. But yeah, they're still teaching me like rags and Kirtan basically. So ideally you should continue training like no one's ever really learned, right? It's a notion out there. Like if you got someone like a great like Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan Sahib saying, hey, I ain't touched anything yet. Like it's just it's a continuous journey. So yeah, I'm continuing on that journey still. But yeah, without naming names, like a couple of teachers over the years. And yeah, I've only got to thank them for whatever they taught me so far.
Dope. It'd be great to also explore a little bit of some of your influences, like who you grew up listening to and who influenced your ear.
Yeah, so I mean, it's interesting because I posted about this at one point where like, I was with Surinder Shinder, passed away not too long ago, a phenomenal Punjabi folk singer. But like, if you actually listen to some of his other music and his other albums, he can also go like semi-classical. And I think a lot of people don't recognize that. And I think what I shared in the story was like, I'm so grateful in like the era that I was born in the 90s, but also the fact that my dad was listening to that quality of music. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you could be listening to, I don't know, you could be listening to something else altogether, but he was listening to like Sabar Koti, Sadul Sikandar, Sujit Bindrakia, Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan Sahab, Nizakat Ali, Salamat Ali Khan Sahab, Bare Ghulam Ali Khan Sahab. Like, so you got like the spectrum of like classical going on, which is like phenomenal out of this world. And then you got some semi-classical stuff going on with like, I don't know, Hunteraj and Sadul and stuff. And then you got Punjabi folk. So I had like the whole spectrum in that sense, definitely from a Punjabi element. And yeah, those were the influences that I grew up with. So my dad is a bit like, he's very specific about like Sorda. So when you listen to those people, you know what Sorda actually is like, that their tuning, their singing, the fact that their ability to play with the tal and the rhythm is just phenomenal. So yeah, I think I listened to that and I appreciated that, and that taught me what kind of level of expectation is of singing, what the standard should be. So yeah, those were my influences, man. And then kind of beyond that, I think as I grew up, so predominantly it's been that kind of Punjabi influence, I would say. And then beyond that, kind of it grew into like influences in the UK scene, like we were talking about here like yesterday, right? Like you got like Jar Shaka, you had like UK Garage, like I used to be a big fan of Kano. You got all these other different genres that are happening around in the UK. So then kind of I was naturally inclined to listen to what my mates were listening to, and you kind of pick up some of that and you see the mixes happening with the DJs. And then all of that's just been like a cluster of stuff. So for me personally though, it's been like neo soul, the whole Soulquarian movement is like a big thing for me. So Mama's Gun, Erykah Badu, Voodoo, D'Angelo, J Dilla obviously on the beats and stuff. That's all like my other influences. So yeah, just a mix of stuff.
Yeah. Well, maybe that flows well to talk about the EP, because I know like, you got a lot of like hip hop influences on there,
Yeah.
It's like the beats produced by A.S. Kullar are out of this world.
Yeah, they're dope.
Yeah. So
they're mad though.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that. How did you and A.S. link up?
We met. So I did a track called A Sufi Tale. I think I dropped him a message because we were following each other on socials or something, and then kind of one thing led to another, and then we're just kind of vibing out. And I remember sending him a vocal, and that's when Sufi Tale got made. Released that, and that was like Beep Station Network kind of banger of the week, chosen by Bobby Friction. And then beyond that, we were kind of just like going back and forth on like this idea. I was like, yo, send me a selection of beats. And I was like, and like obviously his beats are dope. Like I think there's two people that really make beats that are inclined to what like I love. And the grandmaster is Mr. Bobby Kang. Because yeah, his kicks and snares, like I was saying yesterday, are just mad.
Yeah.
Like he's a master at what he's doing. And then I think Kullar is like, a very talented guy as well, right? He can make a mixture of things. And yeah, I think some of the best work that he's made is definitely on this. So yeah, beyond that, kind of had a couple tracks in mind, and then we're like, you know what, we should just make this into an album. Let's just do an EP. And that was it. And then we started planning. I had some lyrics penned, and we just kind of went from there, and yeah, completed it, thank God. It's taken 12 months, I'll be honest. I've been a pain in the ass to work with, because I think it could have been done in like 3, or like 6, I guess. But I was very particular about how I wanted it, how it came out, but we got there. Yeah.
Nice. Do you remember what the first song was that you recorded?
First song was Strapped. That song was actually called Working Man. So what's the movie, man? The Robert De Niro movie. Do you remember the movie? It's the one that he's only ever directed. Damn, I forgot. But there's this quote in the movie, and he's talking about Sonny, who's the gangster. Damn, I need to work out the name of this movie. It's going to really annoy me. But he's talking about like Sonny, who's the gangster in the movie, and then Robert De Niro's like telling his son, he's like, hey, it's the working man. The working man he's the main guy, okay? He works hard, not these losers who are like doing drugs and killing people. And he's just like ripping off like the gangsters, right? And saying, you got to look up to a working man. And that's what that track was going to be about. And I'll be honest, I've been waiting to write something myself, which like completely annihilated this kind of gangster rap analogy that we have in a lot of Punjabi music, right? I get it to an extent. I get the like, hey, I watch cinema too. I love it. I love Goodfellas. It's one of my favorite movies. But then to an extent, it's also like how much of that is cultural appropriation, right? Am I trying to be too black? Am I trying to be too white? Am I actually being brown? Is that really my heritage? So all those kind of questions came into it. And I was going to write something like crazy. And then I worked with my mate, John Mudana, who writes a lot of my lyrics. So big up to him. And he was like, yo, tame it down a bit. Just tame it down a bit. And then what I ended up talking about was shaheeds and sacrifices and like kind of making that point of saying, hey, everyone talks about like gun crime and gangster rap, but who's ready to die? And the people that are ready to die from a Sikh perspective have always been the shaheeds. They've stood up. The Sikh martyrs have stood up day in, day out 500 years ago, whether that's today, you know? So they're the people that's like stare death in the face and laugh. Although we've got like a lot of gangster rap, but that, you know, it's not the same thing. So for me, those are the working men. Like those are the guys that are doing the day-to-day grind. But then when it comes to step up, they step up.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting you put it in the context of gangster rap and, you know, how hip hop went from being a conscious tool for social movement coming out of New York, you know, black and brown communities that was actually used to uplift people. You know, they say the 4 elements of hip hop, you know, you got graffiti, you got the MC, you got the DJ, and you got the b-boy, b-girls. Well, you know, the 5th element is actually knowledge, right? So we're talking about knowledge. This, you know, so this reminds me of a true hip hop project.
5 River Hip Hop, yeah?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, solid. That's
what you should call it.
Yeah.
5 River Hip Hop, let's go.
That's cool. But it's, in a way, it's sort of like, and I think you've used this language, it's like anti-commercial music. Yeah. You know, it's not designed to be like a, you know, all-you-can-eat buffet of music. It's supposed to be something to make you think.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So talk to us a little bit about why you took that perspective. Like, is that... Because, you know, how does it feel to be sort of in this zone of the music, in a sea of artists and a genre that feels like it's kind of pushing something else? It's a hard-hitting question.
That's a really good question.
Yeah. Well, how's it feel? I mean, I just want to know your perspective. Like,
I think it's great. Like, I feel like at the end of the day, like, the main thing is like, you got to do what you love, right? And I'm sure with like some of the other releases that I've had, like there's a Sufi element and maybe that can like slightly go into this fits with the narrative and what other people are doing slightly, because you can take that Sufi element and have the kind of front girl love boy element, right? Really Sufi, that underneath that is an actual message. But yeah, I think it's difficult, right? You're going against the grain. But for me, I've got to do something that basically I'm happy with and something that gives me peace. And one of the reasons I make the music that I make is because, unfortunately, I don't feel like that music exists. So it's really bad to say, but like for like Spotify, when they wrap up they give you like your annual wrap up of what you listen to. I didn't share mine because I was like, this is really bad. And it's probably because I'm listening back to my own mixes or whatever. But like, I'm listening to my own album and my own songs because I'm like, that's the content I'm looking for. And I know that content exists, but it normally exists right now in a strictly Punjabi element. So I don't know, like Sartaj, Guldas Man, or someone else has written something, but it's full, desi, fresh Punjabi kind of music, sound, everything. Whereas what I'm looking for is like, I want the hip hop piece, I want all of those elements, but I want the talk track to be conscious as well, or knowledgeable, like something I'm gaining from it. And I think that's all influenced from a Sikhi perspective, right? I look the way I look for a reason. And daily, like, I do my nitnem, whatever, I do my praise daily, and I'm reminded consciously about death, about like life is fleeting. You know, you could blink now and you're gone, right? It's that simple. So why is no one talking about that? And why, like, when we listen to hip hop, like, I'm listening to Kendrick. I'm listening to Kendrick's all right. I'm listening to the whole album, but I'm learning something. He's talking about something that actually like means something. Same with like J. Cole, whatever other people. Like, there's meaning behind what they're saying, and we love that. Like, Punjabis eat that up. They love their hip hop. But then when it comes to Punjabi music, we're just talking about 3 different topics. Like, I don't know, guns, crime, women, whatever. Like, I'm big, I'm proud, I've got a car. So yeah, for me, it's about staying true to who I am, what my identity is, and the thoughts that I guess like are constantly flowing in my mind, and just putting pen to paper on that. And I wanted to be happy with myself when I did it, and that's why I did it.
Solid, man. So, you know, I think it's clear based on the album artwork and the lyrics.
Free to a couple of people, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, how'd the album artwork come about?
Oh my God, yeah. I was thinking about like the narrative, and I was like, damn, what is the narrative? Like, there's got to be a story here. And when we started with Trap, we thought about like young, ambitious, revolutionary energy, passion, all that kind of stuff, right? And then we started to formulate this journey. Then we had Silent Sorrow, this kind of moment of heartbreak, where maybe that's like your separation from like the physical world, like that barrier between like physical and spiritual, I guess. Like you go from this like shattering experience of, I don't know, going through like heartbreak, and then it transcends you into that final moment of like death, your final moment, and this, I guess, reflection on God and something beyond, right? So it kind of just naturally progressed with like the music we were making. So as we're making the songs, we're like, hey, there's like a theme or a pattern here. So that was kind of generally the kind of the feedback I got. And then we kind of formed that into the EP. We're like, yo, there's a narrative here. And then, yeah, where did Cradle to Grave? Cradle to Grave came from, damn, bro, what's that record?
Is it the Biggie joint? Is it Biggie?
That
is Ready to Die. That's
yeah, Biggie's Ready to Die. What's the other one? You know, Shook Ones, but they had
Mobb Deep.
Yeah, it's a Mobb Deep Cradle to Grave track, and we were going to give it the exact name, but then we're like, yo, what's the actual saying? And then it was like Cradle to Grave, and yeah, and then the title just kind of came from there. So yeah, that was it, man. Named it that, and then the concept of like going, and I was like, dude, I want to like, we're gonna have to go and shoot this. I'm like, I want something visually that represents this concept as something that kind of really hits home. And I guess if you've seen on my other work, like it's not like a hold back in terms of like what I make. So cast is a prime example, like people dying because they've got a different cast associated with them. It's a complete concept that you have to kind of like, I say it's art, like it's a piece of artwork that you interpret in your own way. And everyone who's seen it has got their own interpretation. So yeah, I was just like, yo, ready, like let's make a coffin, put me in there, let's take the picture. And I kid you not, like, yeah, I had someone like come over and make the coffin. So my mother came over and made a coffin. That's pretty fitting, isn't it?
Wow.
It's like, I want this guy to die. She came over, made it from scratch.
Wow.
Literally made from scratch. That put me to shame. I was just like, you're screwing this bit here. Is that going to work? Made it. And it was like, yeah, she made the coffin and I carried it into the woods. And then, yeah, got like the photographer down. My sister was actually the assistant on the day. And like literally for 3 hours, I was laying in the coffin to take the one shot. It took a long time, but we got there, yeah. And it was a killer shot, man. Loved it.
It was. Do you want to shout out the photographer? No?
I do want to shout out the photographer. You have to give me 1 second. I have to look back at the record and find the name.
Okay.
Do it.
That's all right.
Oh, that's it. Cool. No, I don't even need to do it. Him, Panasa. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, he's got special thanks on the record.
Okay.
But yeah, damn, so sorry him. I forgot.
It's okay.
Your name.
Yeah, we'll shout him out. Okay, cool. So we covered the album artwork. You spoke a little bit about Strapped. You spoke a little bit about Silent Sorrow. Those were the 2 singles, right? Or Silent Sorrow was the single?
Silent Sorrow was the single.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell me about the other tracks. Like, I guess the interludes, right? Like, or how did the rest of the tracks? So it's a 6-track EP. We've got Dust to Dust on there. And that, I think, that has the visuals that accompany that, which are mind-blowing.
Yeah. That was the one with the animation. So yeah, animation was done by Gagdeep Chahal, which is my wife. Check her work out. But yeah, she's dangerous. She's an animation director. She worked on Cast. That's how we met. That led into like obviously like some of the other work that I do as well. She's had a hand in that. And then so when it came to visual concept, I was like, dude, like Dust to Dust, okay, final like nail in the coffin kind of track, right? Because I died it, whatever. And it's going to be that is like the big realization track. I think the one that really stirs your mind. And yeah, I kind of gave it like free reign. I was like, dude, what can you do? I want you to put me in a coffin. I want you to kill me in this song somehow. Don't know how excited she got about that. Probably a lot. Yeah, she just went free reign on it and she showed me the concept. Because normally I think I kind of tend to hold on to like the process and like have input. And this one I was like, yo, let me just step back and like you do what you do as a creative because I trust you. And yeah, she came back with a concept. We kind of had like kind of a bit of back and forth for like some slight changes, this and the other. And then yeah, the concept was cool, man. Like that's phenomenal. Beautiful experience making them.
And the interludes, What's Up Woes.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that one.
Yeah, What's Up Woes is funny, man. Like that was terrible. That was a terrible interlude. Obviously, I'm being sworn at. I'm just being sworn at. And it was influenced. It's influenced actually. It's actually influenced by. It's not Ready to Die. It's another Biggie tape, and that's one of the skits he has. But like that goes on for like 3 and something minutes.
Oh, is it Warning or Machine Gun Funk?
It might be. No, I've got it. I've got to find it.
Yeah,
I'll share it with you. But it was influenced by that. But that was like the American take. And to be honest, there's like a lot of influences. I know like other artists have done it in the Punjabi realm, like Sidhu's done it on here, so he's got like Sonam Bajwa speaking. But I wanted like, okay, London representation. And in this case, I got Almas, who I was looking to connect you with, but like, she's amazing. She's been like super supportive and been great work on this album. So I was like, hey, I want it in your voice. I want the South London accent on this. And like, I think she was in the office and she was like in a private room doing these like weird voice notes to me, like for the record. It's like, fuck you, man. You fucking bastard. You did this to me. And she's like, okay, this is good. Like, I was like, oh, that's great. Can you just do that a couple more times with this slight variation? And she was like, hey, dude, I'm in the office. Like, people think I'm a weirdo. And like, if they walk in, they catch me doing this and think I'm going for a domestic. But yeah, like she did a couple of takes and man, it's brilliant. And I ended up chopping that all together, putting the whole sound design for it together. So that was all kind of me and actually making that like the whole thing from scratch and then sending it over for mix and master. Same with the starting. So I was going to actually do like a small spoken word intro for the opening public service announcement. But then I thought like all these samples, I was like, they represent what I want to say. And also it kind of is a look into like what I'm influenced by. So you got like that Snoop Dogg sample where he's talking about 50 at the start. You got a lot of Shaheed Udham Singh samples in there, which is one of my favorite movies with Raj, but like I love it. I saw it as a kid in the cinema. I'm like not giving it up since, like still one of my go-tos. So you got all of those. So the whole skit curation again there, basically again by myself. So I found that the skit for the interlude, which is Sabar Kuti, is one of my influences, talking Urdu, doing some Urdu shairi. I don't know who the shair was, but he's doing the shairi. He's talking about this poetry where he talks about like the guy who's like drowsy. Well, he meets death at nighttime, right? So he says like, today, whatever the stars are out, one day, like, you know, the stars are going to fade and I'm going to fade with them. It's just beautiful. And that is all part of like, for me, all the interludes represent me. They're obviously curated and found by me and then put together by the engineers and the producer. But they're a representation of me and my influences and the message that I want to deliver. So yeah, that's why all in all, like I say, it's undoubtedly like me as a person in the album that is a representation of mind, body and soul.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful.
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool. Because yeah, I wanted to explore a little bit about your live performances. Because me from afar, you know, across the pond on Instagram, I'm like, damn, this shit is crazy.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know, seeing everything at at the gigs you were talking about. So tell me a little bit about like what it's like performing live.
Yeah, I obviously love performing live. The energy is just different. There's one thing to do PA, like a lot of people like stand behind the mic and have assisted performance. I mean, I guess we do that to an extent, but we still like sing live. So for me, I started out live. I did like a lot of people start out with the singles, right? They're like, hey, I've done some covers on Instagram and then I come out and I do like an EP or an album or drop some singles. For me, it was the opposite. When I started out, we did the Golden Roots band. There was like 5 of us sings or whatever at that point, just like doing some like Darbic music at that point. And we did that for a bit. And I just loved the live element. I just loved it. I love talking to the crowd, interacting. Actually, that's like how one of our drummers, Diljit, actually joined, because he was like, we were performing, I think it was in Trafalgar, and he was like, oh yeah, man, love the speech, love this. The energy was great. Can I work with you guys? So I went from that to, okay, finally got to let's record stuff in the studio. And then back to live performances. So Johnny Forever came. There was kind of local like methods and stuff happening. But yeah, I just love the energy of it. I feel like that's authentically me. Whereas when I'm like, if I'm singing to a track, it's kind of maybe trying to chase the beat a little bit and staying in rhythm. Whereas I'm a bit more like free flowing as a singer, I feel.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely, I think, a certain liveness or certain, emotion that you can convey in the live setting that I think a recording doesn't always capture. And I think what I appreciated in those videos was seeing everybody around you. It looked like a sweaty room, man, with the DJs. Like everyone's like,
Yeah.
So like, talk to me about like what those rooms are like here. Because like across the pond, we have no, like that does not exist. Like that's a uniquely,
It must exist, huh?
Not like this. Yeah.
What, you don't have live performances and stuff?
Not with the DJ and like in Punjabi and proper. Like,
wow.
Yeah, it's unique here.
Wow. So yeah, I got to give like shout out to Suk, who basically started Johnny Forever. And he's just, bro, I think the biggest one we've done was 700 people in central London. And yeah, they got like loads of the DJs, loads of performers. I normally perform with like Just Nandra. And we just jump on, man. Like we have a set prepared. Like Jungly will arrange a set. We'll practice a set like a day or two before. But like, yeah, it's just some of our favorite like hip hop joints put together, and then like, bro, we just dropped like a Khalid Manik track on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, or we dropped like a Amapiano thing, so Afro beats like mix in there, and boom, like, yeah, the energy's just different. It's wild. I think also like we said yesterday, the London scene is just nuts because there's such an appreciation for such a wide range of music. You know, whether that's UK garage, whether that's dub, the Amapiano Afro beats kind of thing, techno, house, and that's why I think London's such a nice. It's such a diverse hub of music. And we get that there. And that's why when we mix up stuff and we mash it all up and we're like, the crowd's going wild. For reason why. I love the crowd, man. They also got the ear for that kind of music.
It's true.
So, yeah, it's amazing.
It's true. I think the crowd out here just has like the baseline musical understanding here is just so much higher. Like just the music heads, you know, know so much about music. It's kind of crazy. Like when we were sitting yesterday, I was like, damn, I'm the least like educated music person in this conversation.
It's not that. I think it's like yesterday. Yeah, where like I think it was Chags that was there, but look, his knowledge of dub and like the origins of dub and whatever, like that was a learning point for me, right? Was like maybe I might be able to talk a little bit more about Punjabi folk per se, or like I know talk about Qawwali a little bit more. So yeah, I think that's the beauty of it, right? And I feel like you have so much to offer in terms of like knowledge of jazz and hip hop and the origin story that sits behind that. So I think. I think that's the beauty of it, is that there's so many people with so many different influences and passions and like genres that they listen to that, you know, we all manage to come together and share it. And yeah, it's just an amazing place to be, man.
Yeah. And it's fitting, you know, that we're having this conversation the weekend of Glastonbury here.
That's very good.
You know, and I was speaking with Sadhu earlier about, you know, this quote unquote first South Asian stage, but you know, he was telling me there's actually it's been going on for some years, you know, that there's a South Asian presence at Glastonbury. So just wanted to put that in there because, you know, to situate us in this time and place and where we're in right now.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. There's so many like tunes that have popped off. I mean, yeah, I got like, I mean, I was Young Sing before last time he played the Sufi Tale there. He dropped the DMB mix that we have. You've obviously had like NLS played there, again, massive. So yeah, man, I feel like there's a massive focus on South Asian diaspora and Punjabi music globally, and yeah, we just need more of it. We need like the stuff that you guys are doing is getting eyes on it, man, and we just need to lift it up and show it to the world.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about the record because I think besides rap and besides Karan, I don't know any other Punjabi artists who are pressing their music up on vinyl. Correct me if I'm wrong. Any contemporary artist?
That's true.
So, why?
Yeah, plain and simple, mate. I want to own a physical copy, right? I've collected vinyl, so I've got like a lot of Manak Chamkila Gulzasman, like a lot of Punjabi artists. I've got some like vinyls of Kalam Ali and Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan Sahib. So, personally, I collect music myself, right? I used to buy literally jazz musicals, but like ABCs down the road, or we used to be open at one point. I used to come here when I was a kid, and I'd go out and like borrow double. I say borrow. I used to get 10 quid from my mum and be like, hey, I want to buy some CDs, I want to buy a tape, whatever, you know? So I buy like a Jazzy B tape or buy a CD. So for me, that's physical ownership is really important. Buying that piece of music that I love. And obviously at home, I've got that collection. So, hey, if I'm releasing something, damn, I want to own it, you know? Obviously, maybe not for the single so much, but like this is a body of work that, like I said, is definitely like body, mind, soul kind of me. So yeah, I need the physical copy, man. I 100% need it. So yeah, vinyl. I think I was told to make it on like CD or tape as well. And I was like, okay, cool. I might make it for myself in those mediums, but definitely vinyl is key.
You know, can you share just a little bit about how you came up with the idea, like what some of the barriers were, what the costs were?
Yeah, I think everyone should do it, to be honest. If you can, I mean, you can now. There's a lot of platforms where you can crowdfund, like having your vinyl press. So crowdfunding it is basically saying if you've got enough following, enough people buy, I mean, the minimum number of orders you need to press is basically 100, right? And if you can get 100 orders, basically they'll press your vinyl for you. We'll see like managed to get it to 100 or beyond 100 thanks to my guy here with Recordwala, which is dope. And yeah, I like everyone can do that, right? I don't say I've got a million followers, but hopefully and thankfully this process has shown that I have enough people that are willing to support the music that I can press 100 vinyls. And hopefully, I don't know, next year if I release an album, that will change. It'll be 200 people and so on and so forth. But yeah, definitely it's possible. It's completely possible for indie artists, independent artists like myself and many others. And I think we need more people doing it. Like this.
Good ground here. Is there anything else that you think that we should cover?
I would say big up to everyone that supported the album, bought the vinyl, turned up at shows. I've had like loads of people turn up at shows. I've had loads of people like private message me, DM me and say, hey, your music has like inspired me in this way. So yeah, no, big up to everyone that's listening, that's supporting, that's been a part of this process. Like it's been phenomenal. It's been phenomenal. And yeah, I'm ever grateful and hopefully more to come. The UK scene is, like we said yesterday, it's popping. Like there's so many different influences, there's so many things going on right now. Yeah, and I think it's just the start.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, love, Ribs. Thank you.
Love. Respect for having me, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਸੰਸਾਰ ਛੱਡ ਕੇ ਵਾਪਸ ਜਾਣਾ ਮਰਨਾ ਸੱਚ ਜਿਉਣਾ ਝੂਠ
Helping.
You're fine. You remind me of. You got like Denzel mannerisms. You know that. Literally, I'm just thinking about the shoes and the way the way he sat. And like he's got a very calm. It's like it reminds me of one of his movies. I don't know which one it is. He's got like because Denzel just like he just sits there, he gives arms. Yeah. You know, no, Training Day. He's a bad boy. Training Day, to be fair. It's jokes. I love it.